Okay, so thanks for joining us, Emi. We'll kick off with Rob Kelly from Arsenal Digital.
Hi, Emi. We saw your emotions at the full-time whistle when you beat Man City in the semi-final. We saw how much it meant to you. Can you just give us a bit of an insight into what was running through your head at that moment and what's running through your head now ahead of your first FA Cup final?
Well, it was a bit emotional. Not because we beat City, which is, for me, is one of the best teams in Europe right now. It was more before how much I've been fighting for to play in a final with the club I love. It's been 10 years, obviously, since I joined the club. And when the final whistle, when the ref done the final whistle, everything goes through your head. Say, oh, I done it. Obviously, you think, I wish the fans and my family are here in the final with obviously 90,000 or 90,000 people in Wembley, something that you don't play every day. I was more delighted for what I've been through. Obviously, you have to deal with frustration and lack of game time, but I always believed that I could do it, and I done it. But I still thinking it's not enough. Obviously, you need to beat Chelsea to do what you've been fighting for. Obviously, I've been fighting 10 years to win trophies, not just to reach a final.
We've spoken to you sort of down the years many times. You've always sort of had that unshakable confidence. You will be Arsenal's number one. How important has that self-belief been to showing the sort of form that you've shown since you've come in, since Bern got injured? Because you've been faultless really since you've come in.
It's everything. Football's obviously talent is not enough. It's a mental game. Like I said, you have to deal with frustration when you don't play. You have to deal with the pressure. There's no excuses. Obviously, when a second choice goalie sometimes say, the lack of game, the flight of the ball is different when you train and when you don't, when you play, and there's no excuse if you do everything right. You know what I mean? And I think that's one thing. Like my wife was saying to me, "Why do you train so much in lockdown? Why do you do this so much?" Because I think I might have my chance. I might do it. And look, I have it. After 2 games, I think when we started with the team, I was already training. I was already fitter than when I left. So when Bern done the injury, when that happened with Brighton, if you see straight after, I had to make a low save, and I made it look easy because I was confident that I done the right thing to prepare for each game. So that's when I start again, I start performing. So like that's what I do week in, day by day. I don't go week in, week out. When you play week in, week out. I do day by day, and that's why it drives me forward every time. When I think, I'm not 100% sure, of course I am. That's my thinking and my belief.
You've had a lot of love from the Arsenal fans across all of our social media channels. You'll have seen it yourself in your own social media channels as well since you've come in. How much does that mean to you, and how important is that in sort of your own self-belief, just making sure that you are as confident as you can be ahead of this final?
Because this is Arsenal. That's what Arsenal demands. Obviously, the Arsenal keepers always have to be on point. You cannot make mistakes. Obviously, Arsenal is a really it's a well-known club for the social media. Obviously, we got a great social media team, and everyone talks about Arsenal. And obviously, when you do well, the people recognize when you do well. And obviously, I'm a keeper from the club. I came through the academy. For a fan, it's always nice to see an academy player goes all the way up and reach it to the top. And they knew how much I trained, how much I done. And obviously, it's always says hard work pays off, and now's the time. Now's my time.
And just lastly, from me, have you sort of allowed yourself to picture lifting the trophy at Wembley? Has that sort of come into your mind? And if it has, I mean, you're our longest serving player here. You've been a decade at the club. What will it mean to you to get your hands on the trophy?
I had a hand before when in the 2017 final. I was in the bench, Community Shield as well trophy. But when you start the game and then you finish the game and you get a hand on that trophy, then it's been like I done it. Like obviously as Arsenal Football Club, we won it 13 times, I think. So to win it again is something that the club needs, especially after what we've been through this season. We changed managers like we never done before since I've been here. We have problems with fans and players like we never done before. We never had those kind of behaviors before, and it's been a tricky season. So for the fans and for the club to win a trophy at the end of the season after the COVID-19 and everything is something that the fans will be really excited to see next season. So we have to give them something, and we know that today the training session was outstanding. How the players train. So we're more than ready for the final.
Thanks, Emi.
Thanks, Rob. Next up, Sam Dean from the Daily Telegraph.
Hi, Emi.
Hi, mate. You all right?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Thanks for your time. You mentioned there your lockdown training and how intense it was. Could you give us an example of what you were doing, what specific stuff you were working on, and how you were doing it?
Well, I got a full-size goal in my garden. So, as soon as that happened, obviously the Arsenal fitness coaches, they send you a program. We got a bike from the club to do bike training. Obviously, we couldn't go out anywhere. But I have plenty of space in here. So I got weights, I got like a mini gym outside. And I was doing proper training, goalkeeper training. So because normally as a goalkeeper, when you start training, if you don't do diving or you don't hit the ground for a long time, you might have bruises on your bones, on your side of the bone. So that's something that I've been doing since the lockdown. So when I came back with the team, I was feeling great.
And we've spoken before about your self-belief and how you always believed you were capable of being Arsenal's number one. Were there any moments ever, maybe on loan or earlier in your career, when you thought it might not happen?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. When I signed for Reading, I said this is my last loan. I'm not going on loan anymore. I said after the Reading season as well that this was my last loan. That's why maybe I performed as I had a newborn baby. I was tired of going on loan every time and not having my chances in my club. But then obviously when I finished the season at Reading, obviously I had offers to leave. But I always put Arsenal first. And obviously they trust me. Ospina left. They opened the door for me to stay. And when they opened the door for me, I closed it and said, okay, I stay in, For me, Arsenal was always my priority. But at the end of the day, it's a career that you need to make the most of it. Obviously, I spoke with Unai and Javi at the time, and they said, like, I can be the number one. I can fight for the number one spot if I decide to stay. So I spoke with my family. I had no doubt about it. Because I was going to have game time. It's different if you say, hey, look, Emi, Arsenal's your club, but you're not going to have many game time this season. Then I have to go away. And that was my last loan, so I had to go permanent. But in football, everything changes. Now I'm finishing the season playing every game. But it's not over. I need to win that trophy.
Yeah. And now you've got used to the feeling, and obviously we can see how much you're enjoying it. Presumably, you don't want to go back to being the number two when Byrne gets fit again. How do you see next season panning out?
I don't think anyone wants to be a second goalkeeper, especially if you believe so much in yourself. I never accepted that I'm a backup keeper. People say, no, you're a backup or whatever, and it hurts your feeling because you work to be the number one. That's me. And obviously, I'm not thinking about next season, to be honest, mate. We got a final. There's nothing going. I think my agent called me the other day and it's like, how do you feel? I said, what do you think about next season? I said, I don't want to talk about next season. I got a contract with Arsenal, so I need to play in that final, have my mind clear. And then whatever happens in the final and next season, it happens. It's football. I can go anywhere. But I know I got 2 years contract left in my Arsenal career. So let me win that trophy and then ask me that question again.
Yeah. And just lastly from me, we were talking to Laka a minute ago about the first goal against Man City in the semi-final, and you played a big part of that with that passing in the 6-yard box. Obviously, a lot of fans would see that and get nervous, but is that bravery you had there and that ability on the ball, is that something you've always had, or is that something you've been taught under Mikel or before that?
No, that's something I always had. When I was younger, I used to play up front, so I always have the ability to play with the ball. Even 6'4", I can use both feet as well. Which is my dad always saying to me, if you want to be a professional player, you need to use both feet since a very young age. And I remember being left-footed when I was really young. And obviously, I had an injury on my left ankle, so I started hitting it with my right foot. And then I became a right footer. But at the beginning, the first 4 years, I was left-footed player. And it's obviously with Mikel and Unai, it's a lot of playing out as well. But under Mikel as well, he hates long balls. But in games, you have to mix it up sometimes. You cannot always play through the back. But if you see the goal against City and against against Watford, it was the same. So it's risky passes, but you get the rewards.
Thank you very much. Cheers and good luck.
Thank you.
Next, Nick Ames from The Guardian.
Hey, Emi, how you doing?
Hi, mate. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Thanks a lot for your time. Can we go all the way back to when you arrived at Arsenal? And I know you came over first, didn't you, for a couple of days for a trial with Jerry maybe and the other guys. How did you feel as a young boy who I'm guessing hadn't left South America that often when you were getting on that aeroplane for a trial at Arsenal?
It's funny because when I was in the plane, I said to my agent, I'm only going to trial. I'm not going to... I was scared, mate. I was 16. I didn't even turn 17 when I went on that plane. And I said, I'm only going to do a trial and see what happens. My mind was like, I'm not leaving my family, you know. But like I said, I came from a really, not poor background, but my family struggles a lot in terms of financial. So when that offer came along, and when I came up week, it was Jerry Painter. Jerry Painter wanted to see me, and obviously Arsenal. And obviously when I arrived in Argentina the week after, I had the offer from Arsenal, and they called me, my agent, my family, and the president of Independiente at the time. They called me for a meeting, and I thought it was going to be to sign a new contract with my club and just stay there. And it was actually for being sold to Arsenal. And I saw my brother and my mum cry and say, no, please don't go. And obviously, but I see my dad crying at night for not paying the bills. So I was brave at the time. And I said yes. The only one in my family that said yes because of them. And obviously now I don't regret. Obviously I got a wife and a kid here. And I got a future in London.
So when you had your trial and then you came back to Argentina, did you think, yeah, I've got a chance here, I've done well? Or did you put it to one side and think, I don't think I'm going to hear from them?
No, I thought, yeah, I've done well, but I think I'm going to sign a good deal in my ex-club. And I was going to the first team already at the age of 16 there. So I thought, no, I'll make it here and then I go to Europe later. And it was actually, the meeting was to be sold. I just didn't have really time to decide, to be honest, or think about anything.
Sure. But then you did sign and you came over on your deal at Arsenal, and it was still quite a culture shock for you, a massive new thing. How did it feel to be put into that world, and how long did it take maybe to settle in, and how did you settle in? What coping mechanisms did you use?
It was tricky. It was very difficult because I was underage when I came. So the first year I couldn't play professional. I was only playing some friendlies. I didn't have my European passport yet because it was obviously they were finding my granddad's documents and all that. So since from 17 to 18, I didn't play a professional game, an official game. And I was traveling 3 months here, 3 months in Argentina, 3 months in UK, 3 months in Argentina. So it was very difficult because when I was starting to learn the language, then I would go 3 months at home. Then when I came back here, it was another again. But obviously, when I said to my mum when I was turning 18, that I moved into my first flat in Enfield. I remember I said to my mum, I don't want to come back to my country with nothing. I want to make a career here. I don't want to be a frustrated player. Those who goes to Europe and come back with nothing. So I was always thinking about them, that I don't want to let them down. And I'm a person that never think about myself. I think about them. So that's how I've been in Europe for so long.
Sure. Was anybody particularly helpful to you on or off the pitch when you arrived at Arsenal? Anyone particularly sort of give you a hand?
No. That's why when Gavi came along, I make sure that someone helped him, because it's really important. Because I know how much it suffered the first year.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's so much that we could pick up on there, but I know we're short on time. So moving on to one of your loan spells, I think, at Oxford United, when I think you made your debut at Port Vale, 3-0 defeat. And that's the most sort of typical English lower league football game, I imagine. Did you sort of experience that and think, what the hell have I come into?
It was funny. It was right at the end of the season. I had that really good, I think I was, it used to call reserves at the time, the under 21s. So I was the keeper of the tournament for the reserves. And then Jerry Payton called me, it was a Friday. It was Emi, Oxford United called me that they got like a chance to be in the playoffs. He said they beat Port Vale away. Who? And I said, I didn't know who Oxford was at the time. You know what I mean? It was my first year. And I didn't know if they went League One or League Two. And I said, yeah, I'll go and play the game. And it was actually a really good club. And I enjoyed the game, even though we lost 3-0. I think I was 18.
Sure. Was it a massive culture shock compared to any other sort of football you played before?
Yeah, it was difficult. It was difficult because obviously the old Spirits guy, massive, and even it was crosses everywhere. And I thought I was strong in the air, but I was getting beat in the air like a bag of potato.
Sure.
Okay, Nick, thanks very much. On to Matt from the Express. Matt Dunn. Well, I think you're on mute, Matt.
Oh, yeah, no, you can't. Hi, Emi. Sorry,
Hi, Matt.
You hear me loud and clear now, yeah?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, you've told some lovely stories about your family there. I just wonder, if you were to win an FA Cup final, an FA Cup winner's medal, are they the first people you're going to want to celebrate with, your parents? And how easy is that going to be in the current climate?
Yeah, obviously now, as soon as I win it, I just want to celebrate with my boy and my wife. That's the first thing. Obviously, the circle of life, isn't it? But yeah, I wish my whole family was there, because like I said, we came from a poor family, and to see me there with 90,000 people winning a trophy and with a medal, it would be. It was really nice. My dad came. I remember my Champions League debut against Anderlecht away. He flew 27 hours to reach to that game, and he was crying 95 minutes. So, because I'm so far away from home that obviously it's something really good for us. And I wish they were here. Obviously, Argentina's in lockdown, so I haven't seen my dad and my mum for a year. It will be tough, but I always think about them when I play.
I was going to say, they've had a really tough lockdown in Argentina, haven't they?
Yeah, really bad.
I mean, when do you think you might be able to get home and see your parents again?
Well, now we only go maximum 20 days off. So I don't even know, because Spain's lockdown and Portugal as well. So I might stay in Europe, wherever we can go. And probably next year, but we got Copa America. So if I'm in the squad, I don't know if I can really be at home on holidays. So, but hopefully in 1 year time, and it's a long time in 1 year.
I just wondered, as a dad yourself now, do you realise more of the sacrifices your own dad had to make just to keep the family going?
Yeah. I remember the day that me and my brother ate, and not my mum and dad. So I know exactly what they've been through. I was living in Buenos Aires, and I would only see them twice a month when I travel, because they couldn't afford the petrol to go and see me. So I know what they done for me to reach to the top like I am now.
Will they be able to watch in Argentina?
Yeah. Now we can afford to pay the bills.
No, but I just wondered, will the FA Cup final still be shown?
Yeah. In Argentina, they show all the Premier League games and the Spanish league, so they will watch it 100%.
Will they watch it live? Quite late at night, won't
they? Yeah, they will watch it live. I
mean, but presumably they'll have to watch it themselves, or are people able to congregate now to watch it? No, they show it live there, so they can watch even the celebration. I wondered if the family can get together to watch it, or are there some
no. They also they're in lockdown, so they can't really go to one house. And my brother lives in a private area, so you cannot even go inside the area. So they will watch in separate houses.
Fair enough. Just wondered, while you were in lockdown and diving around your back garden, did your wife and who was throwing balls at you? I don't know if I missed that, but
I had it's called a ball launcher, so someone has to feed the ball. So my wife used to throw the ball. She was terrible. And obviously, I was playing with my boy. He was trying to put the ball inside the ball launcher as well. We had fun because we have some green to play, but obviously we were thinking about the people who doesn't have a green or a garden, how tough it will be to live with a young child at home in the lockdown.
I'm sure it's fun for him, but it was serious work for you. It must have been a strange situation.
No, it was tough. I was exhausted at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay,
how old is your son? Sorry. How old is your son?
2.
Do you mind saying what his name is?
Santi.
How do you spell that?
Santi.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, Matt. Now we'll move on to... Thanks, Matt. We'll move on to BeanymanSports and Carrie Brown.
Hi, Emi. Nice to see you.
Hi, you okay?
I'm very well. I was one of the few lucky enough to be in the stadium. We talked about your celebration on winning it, but I did know as you went into the tunnel, Mikel came and congratulated you with, I think it was a bear hug and a tummy tickle. What was it?
Yeah, obviously, I know Mikel since he was the Arsenal player. We won the FA Cup and he was a player, the captain. And we shared dinners together. I went to his house to have, obviously we drink mate, Argentinians drink mate. So his wife's Argentinian, so he was a lovely guy since he was a player. And obviously now he's my manager, and I respect him as a manager. And when he hugged me the way he did, obviously I felt I done a good job. That's the first thing it came to my mind, and I was so happy for him as well, because it's his first year as a manager, and he reached a FA Cup final, and it's something like he needs to be proud as well. You know, us as well. Him and his team are doing a really good job as well, and I'm so happy for him. I'm delighted.
A lot of people, and we certainly have been in our studios, been looking at the 18 pass goal, superb. Your understanding of it, in fact, you weren't under pressure at all. Everyone's been comparing Mikel to Guardiola, to a future great. You know him as a player and a manager. You know the influence he's had to you. Is he the real deal now to be a managerial great?
Yeah, obviously, I read the interview as Guardiola when Mikel signed for Arsenal. They said, "Oh, how much you're gonna miss him?" And Guardiola probably said, obviously a lot. Probably we learn a lot from him. And that's Mikel. I remember when he was a player, he used to talk a lot with the boss with Arsenal about tactics. We always knew that Mikel would be a top manager, but like I said, and we never knew how good he was going to be, and it's incredible. He always gave us a game plan, and what we done against City and against Watford is what we practice in training. So we start to realize that we need to trust more on the training sessions because it happens in games.
His eye for detail, is it better than any other manager you've been under before?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
What does he
He's got, I don't know, sometimes they give me a ball back to me and it was going to my right side. He said, sometimes you control with your right and then you have everything to look. And he would say, no, go quick and control with your left. And I'm like, why? And then when I start doing it, and then I realized I got more time. So if you see in the goal, when Musta gave me the ball, before maybe I will control with my right foot, and then I control with my left, and I got more time. And that's what it's giving everyone a bit more time, a bit more structure to have more time. And everyone is finding we are more comfortable and more comfortable on the pitch. And when you are comfortable, you can play with confidence.
How much do you all as a collective want to be there when Mikel Arteta wins his first trophy? And do you believe it's just one of the first and many to come?
We all talk how good he is. So I don't think anyone would want to leave. Why would you leave when you know that something good is going to happen? And it's happening. Obviously, we didn't finish the season how we wanted. The Premier League season. But we are in a final. And if we able to win it, then we are in Europe. And many players would think, okay, in Europe with Arteta, with a year of work, we can reach good things here. So I think he can be really influencing signings and players to stay.
I know it's the swear word at the moment, but even over.
Yeah, even over. I don't know what he's thinking, but he knows that he got someone leading the team which is going to be competitive next season.
I want to come to you on your remarkable journey. You talk about not being under pressure when the ball was passed back to you time and time again in that wonderful goal. But was there not a moment when you took in the pressure you were under? Sterling, Silva, Mahrez?
No, because in training, when sometimes I control the ball, it comes Aubameyang, which is one of the fastest players, or like I said, or Eddie, that he doesn't stop running. So Reece Nelson, Pepe, they so much pace. So you used to work under pressure with top players. And I had players chasing me, Van Persie, Henry. I had top players already training with. So when I'm on the pitch now, I said, I've been with top players, so why I cannot do against another top players? And that's my thinking now. And that's probably what I didn't have before. And I got it now with more experience, thinking like, I can do it easily. Obviously, you play City and top team, and you play Watford, you got two good strikers as well. You play Leicester, you got the goal scorer of the league. In the Premier League, you play always with top strikers. So game after game, I will improve my game.
Okay, Carrie, thanks very much. We're running a bit out of time actually at the moment. Sorry, Carrie. Okay, if one more, Carrie, that's fine. But I'm just worried for Emi's time, really.
Sorry,
That's okay. One more.
Emi, I want to be personal. I could ask you so many questions. You're a delight to talk to. You have a tattoo. Can you tell us about it and how important it's been to get you to this point?
A tattoo?
Yes, I believe. From Jens Lehmann?
From what?
Jens,
No.
I believe.
Jens? No.
No. Oh, sorry, I've got that wrong. Now this mountain I must climb?
No.
No, okay. Can I ask the other question then? I'm going to ask the other question. We have Olivier Giroud, who loves scoring in this competition, as we know, a former Arsenal boy. You have a former Chelsea defender in front of you that had an excellent semi-final. Who wins, Giroud or Luis?
Well, on Saturday, you will see, I saw David training today, and he was outstanding. And I seen Oli last 5 games, and he's unbelievable. And I train with Oli, and I know how good he is in the box. It's gonna be a battle, and whoever's best will win. But they both top quality, and I like them both.
Thank you.
Okay, now to ESPN USA, James Ollie.
Emi, hello. I just wanted to ask you, I read a story, I don't know if it's true, about why you decided you wanted to be known as Emi rather than Damien. Could you tell us that story?
It was actually going to be Emiliano Damian on my ID, Argentinian ID. But when my mum went to do it, in the post office, I don't know where she done it, when they done all she was waiting hours and hours in the queue, and then when they done it, they put Damian Emiliano first, and to do it again, she has to wait 2-3 hours to do it again. So she went, it's okay, just do it like that. We're gonna call him Emi anyway. So my name was always gonna be Emiliano Damian, but obviously when I signed here, everyone was calling me Damien because it was my first name. It was a bit confusing, but now everyone calls me Emi.
Was there any part of it? I've read that there was some Mickey taking about Damien and the film The Omen. Was there anything in that, or from some of the youth team players, or was that not true?
No, that's not true. Not true at all.
So it wasn't anything that you felt you wanted to sort of define yourself as something, by a different name. It was just something that you always planned.
No, that's true. My mum, they spell it wrong when they done my ID, Argentina ID, when I was a baby. Damien used to be my granddad's middle name. So my mum wanted to be in reality, my mum just wanted two names, Emiliano Martinez. But because my granddad passed away before I was born, then she wanted to put Damien in between to have my granddad's name, nothing else.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up. Just finally from me, it's sort of been said in the previous years that Arsenal maybe have a bit of a psychological barrier, a mental block against some of the bigger clubs. But the fact that you've beaten Liverpool and Manchester City recently, do you think that shows that maybe you're overcoming that now?
Yeah, it was. We had obviously had two last 3 seasons we played in the Europa League, I think, if I'm right. We had a lot of changes in the club, not just players. Obviously, Gazidis left after so many years. Arsene left after 20 years. We had even the keepman is new. Everything changed, and it takes time to adapt. People don't realize that. How can you replace a manager after 20 years? It's not easy. It's not easy to change a keeper and perform in one season. So I know Arsenal will come back 100%. And you can see that even when they have a bad season, we're still in the final. So that's Arsenal. But everyone, fans saying trust Arteta. And they think that the problem is the board, and it's not. They all support us. It's just we having just 2-3 bad season, and the problem. The good thing is that we will come back. That's the problem. That's a good thing. I mean,
thank you.
Okay, now to the BBC, Gary Flintoff.
Hi, Emi.
Hi.
You spoke about Mikel Arteta as a teammate, his warmth and his generosity. My question is, how much has he changed since coming back as manager?
Yeah, obviously, when you are a manager, you are a leader. You have to lead the team. You have to lead everything. Obviously, he probably have less time to see his children when he was a player. You have to have that character of separate what you done before as a player and think just about management. When I was playing every game in the Europa League and then against Olympiacos, I didn't play that game. He talked to me like a manager. I said, look, you're not playing, and I accept it. We never had an argument. We never have a fight. And that's probably Arteta. He thinks a centre back or a full back deserves to play. He will do it, and that's something that he's good at. And you cannot fight with someone who knows more than you about football. And that's my personality, to be honest, because many will obviously fight, have an argument. I accept it and I work hard. And today you can see that, obviously, when I had the meeting after the Olympiacos, he said thank you to me for how I behaved for not playing. Because, like I said before, you have to deal with frustration as well. And many players, when they don't play, they don't talk in the dressing room, or they train bad because they're not going to play. And I've done the opposite. I was the first one to give a protein shake to play the extra time at Olympiacos, or a banana for players for not have cramps. And he's seen that. He probably, as a player, you don't see it, but as a manager, you see everything. But I had a good relationship as a player with him, and I respect him so much as a manager.
And in terms of your character, Emi, you spoke about your time on loan. You look at Oxford United, Sheffield Wednesday, Rotherham United. How have those experiences helped you to become the person and the goalkeeper that you are to this day?
I learned from every loan. Even I tried abroad in Spain, at Wolves, Reading, Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously, at Wolves, I was having a really good season, and then I got injured. There was my only injury, muscle injury. And I learned even from that, like, after 5 years, I haven't missed a training session because I started changing my diet, changing things, I started doing yoga. So for me, everyone says, 10 years you never played. It's never played for Arsenal. But I played, and I deal with a lot of frustration on loan and at the club, and it made me the man and the player that I am today.
And in terms of preparation, I'm sure you've been very thorough. In terms of the penalties, have you prepared, and how have you prepared?
We always analyse the strikers. We watch a lot of videos, and you got an idea of how they're gonna shoot against Watford. We know Dini likes to hit it hard down the middle, so I never stayed down the middle before, and now I did. And against Chelsea, they got probably 2 or 3 the best takers in the league, with Jorginho and William. You can study 75 hours. In the game will be different. And when the time comes, I will be ready.
And when you walk out, because you have been to Wembley Stadium before, and clearly this will be very different with no fans, but when you walk out, but this time you are the number one, you are the starting Arsenal goalkeeper, what do you think will be going through your mind at that point?
Proudness. I will be proud. I will enjoy it. Many think, final. I'm going to enjoy the final. I'm going to walk there and be arrogant on the pitch. And say, I will never be arrogant off the pitch, but you have to be arrogant on the pitch, confidence on yourself, and then try to perform whatever happens. If you losing 1-0, thinking that you're gonna score 2 against Liverpool, we were losing, we end up winning, and there were so many times in the season that you were winning and you end up losing. So you had both during the season. This is the last game. You have to deal with frustration and when you lead as well.
Thanks for your time, Emi. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Okay, last couple now. Emi, you said last couple. Firstly, Alex Crook from TalkSport.
Hi, Emi. Nice to see you again.
Hi, Alex.
You mentioned 2017. You were on the bench. I think Arsenal were underdogs in that game, and clearly you were underdogs in the semi-final against Manchester City. And if you look at the league positions of Arsenal and Chelsea, then maybe they will be favourites again. Is that a role that you can relish, the role of underdogs this weekend?
Yeah, I like it. I like to be the underdog, to surprise everyone. Obviously, no one probably know the bettings, or everyone probably done City to win the semi-final. That was the easy option. Now it will be the same in the final. But because we beat City, now we say, Arsenal might do it. It's a final. It's a final, both great teams. They are on a high, we are on a high. It will be a battle, 100%.
And obviously, there's a short turnaround between seasons. If you win this game, you're going to be back at Wembley for the Charity Shield as early as the end of August. Given the short turnaround between seasons, is this a chance for Arsenal to lay down a marker to say that next season you're going to be a force to be reckoned with?
Yeah, obviously Arsenal's always on the market. It depends as well, whoever leaves or whoever comes in, and that's obviously we got Raul and Edu who deal with that. Obviously, like I said, everyone's thinking, "Oh, what are you gonna do next season?" I got a contract here, so I don't know when the season finished after the final, then we probably sit down and think what we need or what we don't. Players say, "Oh, invest now," but they're waiting. Obviously, you have to wait. The transfer window just opened. But I think Arsenal is really good doing business. They've done it for so many years. I'm sure they're going to strengthen the squad.
Do you think winning the FA Cup would help with that, and qualifying for Europe would help attract new players, but also help keep your big players? Because obviously there's been a lot of speculation about Aubameyang for one. Yeah,
of course. Everyone wants to play in Europe or in Champions League. And you know that if you play Europa League next season, it's another way to qualify to Champions League. We want to play in Europe. We want it more than them. That's the reality. And that might be a big part on the final.
And just the last one from me. You've talked about your relationship with Mikel Arteta. If you win the FA Cup, he'll join an elite list of people who've won it as a player and as a manager. Is that a big motivating factor for you and your teammates?
Yeah, of course. We want the best for the team, and having a happy manager and a happy team, there's nothing better than that. We can start next season, because next season it's just down the corner. In 4 weeks' time, you're already playing a community shield game. So if we manage to win the cup and finish on a high, then next season you start on a high. That's a reality, and we can push on for Champions League next season and try to win again. And that's what you have to do with Arsenal. And for Mikel, it will be great. Winner as a player, as a manager on his first season as managing. Obviously, he was second at Guardiola. It's not the same being second and first. We will try to do the best for him as well.
Thank you. All the best for the weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, and finally, Mark from the Press Association.
Hi there, Emi. I won't keep you much longer.
That's okay, Mark.
Mikel said after the Watford game of the weekend that if you are fit and available, which we all hope you are, that you will definitely start the cup final. How much of a boost does that give you? Obviously, now Burn's fit, there might have been a question over that, but to know that you are going to start, that must be a great lead into a great week, a build up for you.
Yeah, it's always nice to know that you're playing. Obviously, when you are Arsenal, you have 2 or 3 goalkeepers they can play. It's always a good level, good competition. Knowing that the manager after the last game said that you be playing is something that gives you motivation. It gives you that you know that he relies on you and he trusts you. So my job will be give that trust back to him in the game after the final whistle.
And with Burn back in training now, will that help you this week, having him around to just push you that little bit further before Saturday?
Yeah, Burn is always a nice guy to be around. With Burn, Matt, and even Carl now, Iñaki and Sal, we have a really good group. So obviously when it's true what happened when Burn got injured, we didn't like it. Obviously, I know that he opens the door for me, but no one reached a goalkeeper to be injured to play. You want to play, beating them in training or in manager's decision, not for an injury. But it happened, and I took my chance, and hopefully I win a trophy for this amazing club.
You mentioned Iñaki there. How much of an impact has had a new coach around the club? How much has he brought your game on?
Iñaki is a really hard worker. We always train 30, 40 minutes before the team starts. So our training session is really, really long. And when you see Ben performing and me performing, you think, sometimes you complain, think, we train so much. And when you're on the pitch, you feel really sharp. So it's something good on it. And we start realizing how good it is to be fitter than before.
And then just finally, sorry, Dan, can I just get one more?
Yeah, okay, cool. Keep it quick, because Emi's got something else to go to. Thanks, cheers.
Yeah, no worries. Just a quick one, really. I mean, I know he missed the cup final in 2017 and he'll miss out again this weekend. Skodran, obviously, he's injured. It's just a sad time for him because he was just getting into arguably his best form. So is that another catalyst for you guys this weekend to go out and do it for those that can't play? Because he's one of the few players that are injured, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Musta's a great guy to be around in the dressing room. It's always funny. And I didn't know that he missed the last one. I completely forgot, and I read them on his Instagram account. It was probably tough for him because he was doing really well recently after the restart. It was really, really well, and obviously you want to put the strawberry on the cake to finish off the season. Obviously he was as well. He was criticized a lot, like him and Granit, and they overdone that really, really good. And it's something that you have to be proud of yourself as well, because you have, like I said, you have to deal with frustration during your career. And I was sad for him not to play in the final, but we got Rob Holding, we got David Luiz, Kieran Tierney, Kolasinac in the back. So that's Arsenal. You got competition. And Rob is an outstanding centre back. So sometimes someone get injured and you have the opportunity. It happens to me. Now it happens to Rob as well. And I wish them both luck, obviously, for Musta's recovery and for Rob the final.
Great. Cheers, Emi. Good luck.
Thank you.
That's great. Thanks, Emi. Thanks, everyone. So just to remind, everything that Emi said there is embargoed until 10:30 on Thursday, 10:30 UK on Thursday. But thanks again for your time, Emi. Much appreciated.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emi. Take care. See you soon.
Thank you.